Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
In the air to center field. It'll be deep enough no matter what. There's a catch. Here's the throw to the plate. Panthers win it. The Great Bend Panthers are going to the state baseball tournament.
Envisioned it ever since sophomore year. I've kind of been thinking about that same had that early. Sophomore year came up and struck out, so I knew just to put the ball in play when the game was over there with no outs. Our team did a great job today.
Had really good pitching from Carson, and Hunter throws a gem, a no-hitter in game one. Just all that accumulation is huge for us, and great team win, so much fun, excited for everybody, excited for Owen for getting the game-winning hit. It's great to be a Panther.
Well, and you think about it, that we gave up one hit that was the 3-run home run, and it's hard.
Well hit, deep part of the ballpark, turning, gone! Salvi hits a 2-run opposite field home run.
We have a really difficult region. We have to swap out a couple of teams that were good teams, but they're not like we got Bishop Carroll in their place, and then May South too. So
pulls it back out through 3, and the win at the horn, back iron, and in! Halliburton hit it! Indiana storms the floor. The officials will hold here.
The review shows his foot is on the line. That will be a 2. We've got overtime in game 1.
The lead, Duchesne dropped it back. Hasted it a little bit quickly. Ranted and shot. Comes to Duchesne and a wide open goal. And they score!
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Welcome in. It is a Thursday show. Steve Webster with you here from the Mayo Money Management Studios today. Joined, welcome back.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Daughtry back in, our new sports guy, and everything else that he's learning to do here. But you always feel good, though, when you look over there and there's Landon Winkler in the corner, our executive producer.
He's on it.
For Sports Day.
He's on it.
Interesting conversations because now we're getting this. I haven't seen Landon perk up as much. You guys were there talking video games before. And man, Landon, if he had a tail, his tail would have been wagging, man.
Some similar interests. I like a lot of things. Video games is one of them. Sports, obviously, what my career's in, but I can talk gaming a little bit.
Sports and programming.
There you go.
You get that, okay? All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. A lot of things to talk about here on the program today. We're going to have Sunflower Sports Solutions' Connor Nickel on a Thursday instead of a Friday. So he'll be in today. We'll recap that Great Bend Panther win last night. We'll talk about all the other regional baseball and softball taking place. And now we're looking ahead to the state tournaments. KVGB Track and Field Insider Mike Corson's going to be here. And he'll be previewing this afternoon's 5A Regional at Great Bend's Memorial Stadium. And we'll be talking with the voice of Fort Hays State Tigers, Gerard Welbrock, his final appearance on Sports Day this season, as we'll wrap up our shows on Friday. We'll go on summer break. But Fort Hays State with the new athletic director. We'll kind of talk about his thoughts on the new AD at Fort Hays. Also kind of wrap up the year it was in sports at Fort Hays. But let's get to our sounds the past 24 hours or so. Randy Gehring had the call last night on B104.3 The Point. As Owen Kaiser's sacrifice fly scores Ian Premer from third base. Panthers beat Capon 5-4. And they win the regional. It was not easy at all. They had to come from behind to win it. And they do it with Owen Kaiser. He's had a great baseball season, and he's an offensive lineman. He'll play in the Shrine Bowl this summer, Brant, but he's had a good year, not only hitting the ball, but pitching. Great Bend with a deep pitching staff. I mean, Hunter Herman had a no-hitter in the first game yesterday, the 10-0 victory over Ark City. And Great Bend's on to the state, and wouldn't it be cool if Randy Beck, head coach of the Panthers, took them all the way to the state championship in his final year? Great Bend High School.
It's the kind of thing you write stories about. But and you know what's kind of lost in that soundbite? The at-bat by Owen Kaiser was incredible.
How many did he foul off?
I at least 6 or 7, maybe more. It was a deep at-bat. It took forever, and the crowd level just kind of building the entire time and over and over and over again. And he's just getting bat to ball and just seeing another pitch. And it was a great at-bat from Owen Kaiser. And the more pitches he saw, the more he felt like, okay, he's about to win this thing. And eventually he did.
And they had to come from some adverse. I know I've mentioned this today. People probably go, well, you don't want to talk about that. Great Bend's been great this year. Mm-hmm. I mean, they were the #1 seed in 5A West in football. And then they had the Hurricane game here against Hayes High, and they lost that in the second round of the football playoffs. They were the #1 seed in 5A West in basketball and lost to the 16 seed in the first round of Sub-State at home. So I know those kids were feeling a little bit of pressure yesterday, and they got through that. So now let's see what goes on. You know, that monkey's out. Let's go see what they can do. And it looks like the brackets are not out yet. Mm-hmm. Okay, and in fact, there's one tournament that's not done. St. Thomas Aquinas, they played them in that tournament in the Kansas City area. They played them at Gardner Edgerton, and I believe lost 2-0. So they're probably going to be #1 if they win that, right? Right. If they win their 14-5-8 regional today. Everybody else is done.
Sure.
So what's our brackets look like?
Our brackets, I wrote it down a minute ago, and now I think you have it.
Okay, Great Bend's going to be the #2.
Great Bend is, if we're just going purely by record, they'll be the #2 seed.
Okay, and that's assuming that Aquinas wins today. Right. They've got to win 2 games. Hayes also qualified. Mm-hmm. The Western Athletic Conference champion. Great Bend was 1 strike away from basically winning the WAC, but a walk-off home run ended that in a game out at the sports complex. Great Bend came back and pounded Hayes in the next game, but when you're in a 5-team conference, you only play 3 conference games against each team. You don't have much, and they were the top 2 teams. So, and Hayes looks like they're going to be the 5 seed, I believe.
Right. They'll play in the 4-5 game again, assuming that they're seeding based purely off of records and all other things hold equal with St. Thomas Aquinas. But yeah, it looks like they'll be the 4-5 seed, which means that Great Bend would not see them unless they were playing in the state championship game.
I'd love that. That would be, oh boy. Okay, state tournament, X Stadium in Wichita. Wichita State University gets underway on Thursday. Okay, you have the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. And certainly the Great Bend Lady Panthers, we didn't have a show yesterday. We didn't get to talk about it. Kerry Minton talking about they gave up that one big 3-1 blast. They had a lead. They were behind. They came back, got the lead, just a couple outs away from going to the state tournament. And then Topeka Seaman rallies. Looks like they've taken an unsurmountable lead. It's 7-4, and then Great Bend not dead yet.
Storms back.
And they've got a chance to win it, but just can't get over the hump. They lose 7-6.
Yep. Tying run made it to second. Tying run made it to second with 2 outs in the bottom of the 7th, and the hit just wouldn't come through. It was a really, really really fun game. I can say this. I have seen in the past 2 days one of the best high school softball games and one of the best high school baseball games I've ever seen, and Great Bend played in both of them. So, look, I had the thought, man, if they're all this fun, I'll wind up liking this place. But it's just a really, really fun couple of games that Great Bend has played in the past couple of days, and I'm excited to see what the baseball team can do in Wichita.
And the crowds out there were, especially the softball game, was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. So big and into it. That's the other thing. Is you can have big crowds that are sometimes quiet. The fans that were out there, which again, 4 out of every 5 in that regional championship game for baseball for both teams, were Great Bend supporters. And to see the way that they weren't just at the game but into the game was a lot of fun.
Okay, so great year by the Lady Panthers. They come up just short. Baseball team and those brackets, you'll be able to find those on greatbendpost.com as soon as they come out. It'll be tomorrow now since St. Thomas Aquinas needs to finish up their regional today. Okay, Ellenwood trying to get into the 2-1A state tournament here in Great Bend next week. They had a tough task. They had to play in Hayes against TMP on the Monarchs' home field. TMP's got a very good team this year. And Ellenwood battled them in their semifinal game yesterday. But the Fighting Wardos, head coach Roger Ward and the Ellenwood Eagles fall to TMP 9-4. Then TMP went out and whipped Ellis 15-0. So TMP will be here next week for the 2-1 A-State tournament. They will come in with a record of 21-4 on the season. The Royals' offense has not been good this year. And in fact, what was the stat that they had? They had been held to 4 or fewer runs in 42 of their first 50 games. And you know, I was going, well, they got to hit. Well, Vinny Pasquantino's not had a great year. Salvador Perez, that was his first home run in like a month. Mm-hmm. And when your big guys that are, especially in the middle of your order, are hitting, maybe Salvy's starting to pick it up a little bit, but the call yesterday, Ryan Lefevre, Salvador Perez hammered a 2-run homer to right center field. That gave the Royals a 6-1 lead in the top of the 4th inning. Royals going to beat the Giants 8-4. That was in the final game of the 3-game series in San Francisco. Salvy had 3 hits, including that 2-run homer. Bobby Witt Jr., Mikhail Garcia, each had 2 hits, 2 RBIs. So the Royals able to win the series against San Francisco, and now they head to Minnesota, take on the Twins, who've been playing very good baseball of late. They got off to a really slow start, but they've caught fire here recently. No Royals baseball today. They'll open that series tomorrow night at Target Field in Minneapolis. We'll have that coverage for you starting at 6 tomorrow on KVGB. The Royals right now, Tigers are streaking right now. Best record in baseball, 33-17. Minnesota now is 5.5 back, tied with Kansas City for second place. So 28-23 Royals against the 27-22 Twins tomorrow night. All right, other sounds of the past 20. I'll give you the Big 12 scores. What do you think about single elimination for baseball tournaments? I kind of was skeptical to start with. The MIAA with Fort Hays State's doing it. I don't know. I kind of like it. That's what the Big 12 has gone to. You know, so no coming back to the losers bracket for Kansas State, who got beat yesterday by Houston 9-2 in the first round of the Big 12 tournament.
You know, I don't love it for national championship style tournaments. I think that you should get a double elimination there. For conference tournaments, for things that don't, you hate to say they don't matter quite as much, but look, this time of year, this is the rain season, right? Like, so if you're trying to get this double elimination baseball tournament, you're supposed to have this over 5 days. You're never going to get all those games played in 5 days. You're always going to have to push things back and reschedule, and it's so much simpler when you don't have a long period of time to get all of those games in to go to a single elimination tournament. And I think that just logistically it makes more sense.
It makes that first game very dangerous, though. Mm-hmm. But if you finished in the top 4 of the Big 12, you got a first-round bye, and that was Kansas, who set a school record for home runs this year, 42 wins, most wins in school history. Now they get Oklahoma State, who beat Baylor yesterday 4-3, kind of a down year for the Cowboys as they were playing in the opening round games. Basically, you call them play-in games. They're down to 8 teams. That game this afternoon at 4 o'clock on ESPNU and the always popular ESPN+. TCU in Houston, West Virginia taking on Cincinnati right now, and Arizona took on BYU earlier today, so that's a Big 12 tournament being played. Lyles Lashley, head coach of the Great Bend Panther track and field team. They host a 5A regional today at Memorial Stadium, and it's a tough regional. They dropped a couple teams moved out, couple teams moved in, but for 5A, when you're talking Mays South and Bishop Carroll, it's going to be a stacked regional today. Field events start at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Prelims begin at 5. Finals on the track start at 6. And if you like high-stakes track and field, this is a good one. Remember those things I told you I had in my ear, and when people text me, I can hear things. So it feels like I've got an executive producer. It comes from Gary Wagner, the voice of the Larned Indians, wanted to know, no, we have an entire week of Sports Day next week. Tomorrow's not the last one, okay? But Wags wanted to know that. But see, my executive producer in my ear, it's pretty cool. I can hear the Australian voice lady in my ears.
You've got your series set to Australia.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't like the other one.
That's fair.
Yeah, so, okay, field events begin at 2, prelims 5, finals on the track start at 6. High-level track and field because you want to finish top 3 and you're automatically into next week's state meet. Okay, Wag says, oh, goody. Now, I will say this. The final week of Sports Day is kind of like the last week of school. There's not a lot of structure to it.
Fair enough.
So we'll have Lyles Lashley coming in next week. Mike Marzoff will join him. Anyone else who wants to stop by, Garrett Fitzpatrick will probably be in. Yeah, it's the last week of school. I mean, finals are in. We're not going to fail. So
as long as no one dies and no one gets lost, we're going to be fine.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, go check out Great Bend Track and Field today, see what Cooper Omott does. I figured Cooper, heck, he hadn't high jump before, got a day of practice, went out, finished second at the WAC. Maybe he'll pole vault today and just go out and go 14.6 or something. A couple more highlights from the last 24 hours. Tyrese Halliburton. He brought up memories of Reggie Miller back when the Knicks and Pacers were going at it. Long jumper, bounced off the back of the rim as time expired in regulation. Pacers thought it was a 3 to begin with, but they reviewed it. His foot was on the line. They rallied from 9 down like in the last minute, got it tied, and beat the Knicks 138-135 in overtime. That was Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll have Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals here for you tonight on KVGB. Coverage begins at 7. OKC up 1-0 on Minnesota in the Western Conference Series. And the call on the Dallas Stars Network, Matt Duchene scoring to put Dallas up 4-3 in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals in Dallas last night. Miro Heikkinen, Mikael Granlund, and Duchene scored power play goals in a 5:26 span early in the third quarter. Dallas was down in that game to Edmonton 3-1. So they now have a 1-0 series lead playing at home. Tonight it'll be Florida and Carolina at Carolina. Florida leading that series 1-0. Okay, one other note today. KU's hired former KU guard Jock Vaughn to be an assistant coach, and he takes over for Norm Roberts, who announced his retirement after 37 years. And they call him in the AP story one of the most beloved players in KU history. And he was. You ever have a team that you follow, but you remember a play that Jock Vaughn? Okay, let's see. Elite Eight. Okay, to get to the Final Four, they're playing Arizona. Jock Vaughn has a wide-open three-point shot at the top of the key. He turned it down to throw over to Rafe LaFrance, who was covered and had to try to hit a fall-away 3 going out of bounds. And it's been hard for me to get over that with Jock Vaughn, but he is going to be an assistant on Bill Self's staff. Okay, coming up, we're going to check in with Connor Nickel, Gerard Wabrock, and Mike Corson, all on the Thursday Sports Day show on KVGB.
If you're needing a health care plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com where you can schedule a free, no-obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend.
Introducing Ag Mechanics at Barton Community College in partnership with Case New Holland Top Tech. Hands-on training in areas like electrical, hydraulics, and diesel engines, with technicians gaining the knowledge and skills needed to start a career with CNH Level 1 training. Join this high-demand field at a CNH dealership in only 9 months. Learn more at toptech.bartonccc.edu.
Hey, you can become an instant finalist today with Reef Blue Summer, presented by Ealer Chevrolet, INA Alert, Equity Bank, and Kelly's Garden Sense. Now, today you're going to want to stop in 80 East 10th Street. I'm talking Eldridge Fencing, and standing in for Wally today.
Hey, it's Billy here this time. Come on out to the east side of Great Bend here and see us, would you? Memorial Day is on Monday, and you don't want to be without your new favorite outdoor appliance. Yeah, That's right, I said outdoor plants. Select models of Halo griddles are up to $100 off. Traeger grills up to $300 off. And U.S. flags and telescoping flagpoles are also on sale through Memorial Day. So take that ripped up, torn up flag down and drop it in the bin there at the American Legion on your way to Eldridge Fencing to get a new one. These deals will not last forever. And I tell you, Wally told me I had to do this, so here goes nothing. Eldridge for the biggest room at your house.
Register to become an instant finalist at Eldridge Fencing before 5 o'clock today, 80 East 10th Street in Great Bend.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Sports Day also brought to you by C&E Doors, your full-service garage door company. Follow the orange sign south of 10th and Harrison. Equity Bank, here when you need them. Bank local, save big with in-person banking and business banking. And the American Plains Co-op Bulk Fuel Department, featuring number 2 Clear Diesel, bulk fuel, E10, fuel delivery, and all your lubricants and fuel supplies. Okay, I could not play Connor Nichols Open today because it says Friday. So we've moved you up in the lineup today, Connor. So I'm glad you were able to make time.
I'm very excited to be here, Steve-O. Quite a day of regional baseball and softball yesterday.
Okay, we've kind of mentioned it. This year for Great Bend High School, it's been a great sports year, yet 2 just gut-wrenching losses in football and basketball, and I just had to feel as those kids were carrying that with them a little bit, you know? I mean, they're number 1 seed, 5A West. They came through yesterday. Great win over Cape and Mount Carmel. I guess we'll start there. 5-4. Panthers win it yesterday. They're on the way to state. Looks like they'll probably be a number 2 seed in Wichita next week.
Yeah, and that is the prism, Steve. I think you hit on the head 100%, that if we kind of had this conversation a couple weeks ago, more broadly speaking, but I think Great Bend definitely falls into this, that if Great Bend baseball had not made it to state, how would this year of Great Bend boys sports be viewed? I think, in my opinion, you still have to view it as a great success. But yeah, I mean, it's so much of Kansas sports is measured on state appearances. And for them to get through, that was awesome. The big picture, we had talked about this, that baseball is just so balanced, and that completely bore out in 5A West yesterday. You know, you look at your quarterfinal games, it was 6-5, 7-1, 5-2, and extra inning game, 4-2 and 4-3. I think Great Bend baseball had the lone blowout win in their game. Then obviously in the substate championship games, you had 5-4, 2-0, 2-1, and 2-1. Great Bend wins that 5-4 game. You know, in the 7th inning, Ian Premer, obviously incredible athlete. Starts it off with a single, and then another single, and then a bunt, and then a sac fly, line out, and Great Bend baseball is once again going to state. And yeah, you're right, probably a 2 seed, which I think is really helpful for them. They should miss some, based on what I've seen so far, should miss some great Eastern powers in the first round. And so, yeah, very happy for Great Bend on a day where there were a lot of upsets.
Let's talk
about... Which we'll probably get to coming up. Great Bend and Hayes High baseball qualify.
Yeah, Hayes High gets in there as well. So talk about some of the... We'll stick with baseball right now. Some results from yesterday. Just some of your thoughts on what you saw in regional baseball.
Yes, the big one. One that we talked about for a couple of weeks, the Marion 2-1A regional. Both Sedgwick, undefeated, and Little River, who had only lost to Sedgwick, are both out. Remington upset Sedgwick 2-1, and then beat Hutchinson Trinity. Trinity had upset LR. Remington won the regional championship 8-5. Now, Remington had faced Sedgwick way at the beginning of the season and had lost those 2 games, 11-0 and 6-4, which was Sedgwick's closest game all year. So I actually did some more investigating on that 2-1 game game yesterday. Remington and Sedgwick get a 2-1 score combined for 6 hits. And the game-winning run was scored by Remington in the top of the 7th. Here was your sequence. Walk, hit by pitch, sack, and a fielder's choice on a ground ball where the boy was safe. And then Corey Kermline, Sedgwick's best player, was on third base, bottom of the 7th, and was picked off of third. And that is how that game ended. So a huge upset there. And then, you saw, Hoisington obviously lost to, both Hoisingtons did. But I really want to make a note on this, that Hoisington baseball lost to a great Clay Center team. And that NCKL League, which does get some criticism for not showing up in some other sports. My goodness, they show up in baseball. Abilene is through at state, Clay Center's through, Rock Creek is through, and Wamego, which of course is an eastern school, as is Rock Creek in baseball. They will play today, and they're going to have a good shot to also qualify through to state. Washington baseball lost to a great team. Mentioned this last week. Do not overlook Russell Victoria baseball. And Russell Victoria baseball gets through and qualifies for state. That team is playing very, very well. They're out in the Colby Regional, and Russell Victoria headed to state, I believe, for the first time in 9 years.
Okay, the baseball side takes from softball this week, Connor.
Yes, keeping with our theme here, the upsets. Number 1 seeded, 2-time defending champion, undefeated McLeod loses. They lost to Rossville, and then Rossville lost to Oskaloosa, and TMP softball lost yesterday as well. The teams that probably will rank 1 and 3 with Inman Sandwich as number 2 are both out. TMP lost to a good Medicine Lodge team who went on to win the regional. Medicine Lodge had a nice pitcher. TMP made 5 errors, many of those coming at really key times, and that's how that ended. Inman came out of the regional with Bennington and Ellenwood and Sterling. Inman relatively cruised there. They will go into state 22-1, and I think they are the state favorite. And then Hoisington softball, it has not been able to crack the state berth, but a lot of great seasons. They took that 16-1 lost the circle. So another, great record for Hoisington, falls just so short of state.
And the Great Bend Lady Panthers right here. I mean, they rallied back. They get the lead in the bottom of the 6th inning. You're just a couple outs away, and they just couldn't put it away. And Seaman ends up putting 4 on the board, and then all of a sudden it's 7-4. And then Great Bend came back and got the tying run on second base, but couldn't get it done.
Yeah, and that's just the nature of it. I believe in the 8-7 game with the Seaman, and that is just the nature of postseason. So many of these games that we have spoken of have been close games, and I felt like, as we had talked about, that Mays South and Bishop Carroll were probably a step above everybody else, and that certainly proved out right. Carroll only eliminated Hayes High, and then Salina Central and Salina South had a really good game that Central ended up pulling head-to-head and winning. But yeah, I thought that Great Bend and Seaman were going to be really, really close games. A bummer for Great Bend. Felt like this was a state caliber team for sure. Again, I think that May South and Carroll and probably a team on the East are definitely your favorites. But it has been really nice for Great Bend to made it back to state. Just a really good softball game too, and kind of again it epitomized what Great Bend is this year. If you score 6 runs in a regional championship game, you generally win. We saw that on the baseball side. The 6 runs would have won all those games. But, Great Bend just, the pitching-wise is good, but not great. And so Great Bend has to get quite a bit of offense to win, and, really tough loss there.
Well, and I guess now this is one of the funner weeks of the year because it's basically school's out now, and you get hopefully some good weather today. But regional track and field taking place. I know we've got a big one here, 5A in Great Bend today. Bishop Carroll's here. Mays South is here. How good is Hayes High's track and field team this year?
I think that they've got, for them to win the WAC was really impressive. You could get really deep in the weeds here with track points.
Yeah.
The WAC only has 5 teams. And I never want to diminish a WAC championship because those things I remember, the WAC is, it is really, really crucial. But generally speaking, scoring 3rd, 4th place in the WAC, which is still going to net you 4 to 16 points, that may not be the same in a meet like today. And I went through a number of meets on mile split last night, number of the seeds and the entries, and this is more of a broad statement, not having to do with the WAC. But I noticed some people who had won a conference, competition in an event are seated 3rd through 5th in the regional. And that's not to diminish that conference winning mark. It's just to say, hey, there's also a lot of really good people out there too. And I'll give you a really good example. The 1A regional in Oberlin has Ness City and Ellis. Mentioned a few weeks ago, Ness City girls, state championship caliber good. And they have not faced some of these other schools, and you look at their regional marks, and, they're ranked 1 or 2 in so many events, particularly on the track, and that really has skewed things because some of these people have won the conference. I think Hayes High has got a good team. Tony Crow, even in his best years, he said we're going to run into some people at state that are going to be really good. And even in the Jaron Hammock years that they took 5th, I think Hayes High boys are definitely a top 10 5A team. I don't think they're top 3. I do think Ness City, though, Fringe Golden Belt team can win a girls' state championship.
Did they win it last year?
Well, so they I believe they were 2nd or 3rd. I want to say third. Patrick Younger has been at Ness City since 2008. He has 6 state titles, but none since 2010 or 2011. He has all of the state titles except one on the boys' side. One of the years in cross country, he won boys and girls together. But since then, he has a number of 2nd and 3rd place finishes in cross country and track, boys and girls combined. But this year's team on the girls' side is just loaded. And he is a great coach. He's got a number of kids going through the program, his own kids. Very charismatic, puts a lot of time, a lot of effort. Very similar, honestly, for those who don't know Patrick Younger in Ness City. Lyles Lashley and Patrick Younger are very similar people. And they get a lot of buy-in, very, very charismatic. They know how to run a program. They coach the same events. They're both cross-country coaches at heart. And, yeah, he's done an outstanding job with that program.
What kind of Cajun chef is he?
Well, I think he's got, I've known Pat Coach for a long time. He has 5 or 6 kids. It's at least 5.
Okay.
And they're all kind of spread out in age. I don't know how much time he has to coach, to cook Cajun food.
All right. You got one more in you next week?
I do, of course, Steve. Always.
Okay, we'll check in with you next Friday, the final sports day of this year. So, Connor, appreciate it. Talk to you next week.
Good. certainly, sir. Thanks so much.
All right, Connor Nickel joining us here on Sports Day. We will be back. We'll talk with the voice of Fort Hays State Tigers, Gerard Welbrock. That's
From
next.
the Mail Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Ready for a fresh start this spring? Equity Bank is here to help you bloom into better banking with a $300 bonus. Receive $300 when you open a new Equity Bank checking account and use code FRESH, either in person or online. It's the perfect way to reset your routine and refresh your finances. Visit equitybank.com/fresh for full details and start your season strong. At Equity Bank, they never forget it's your money. Member FDIC.
This is Hadley.
Hadley, what's going on? I've been trying to call you for the past half hour.
Well, Papa, ever since you started this big sale, the phones have been ringing like crazy.
That's a good thing, Hadley. And didn't I ask you to name the sale?
I did. It's a sale. It's so good you won't believe it.
Oh, Hadley, it is so good you won't believe it.
C&E Doors is offering steel on both sides 9x7 white doors for the same price as vinyl backliner doors. Call today.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Dr. Caitlin here at Animal Medical Center. We're bringing in the savings this May. Get 20% off all Science Diet dog and cat food and treats. No coupon needed when you're here. Prescription diets are not included in this, but stock up and save big, but hurry. Stop by Animal Medical Center before May 31st to get your pets the high quality nutrition they deserve. Our team is ready to help you with all your pet care needs. Large or small, we take care of them all.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back. Sports Day here on KVGB. It's brought to you in part by Great Bend Rec Commission, dedicated to improving our community and the lives of its individuals, and Eller Automotive Repair, where they specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. We're moving everybody around. Connor Nickel moves from Friday to Thursday. Gerard Welbrock from Wednesday to Thursday. It's like the last week of school, Gerard. You know, it's just kind of, okay, well, we'll just kind of get in here and get it.
And we haven't done a darn thing the last week, educational-wise, either. All fun. It's like the week before Christmas break. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and things don't.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay, well, that's good. All right, let's get to it today. Dr. Lisa Goddard McGurk. Did I say that right?
I think McGurk is how she does it, but yeah.
Okay. New director of athletics at Fort Hays State University. What do you think?
Yeah. I interviewed her on Monday. Very likable. Enjoyed the interview. I think she'll do a good job from everyone I've talked to. Thought, obviously, she did well in the interview process. Which if you get hired, you do. Very rarely do you bomb an interview, you still get hired. So, I think a lot of people really liked her, liked what she had to say, and and then obviously we'll see how things go as she gets to Hays and gets acclimated and gets into the position. But it seems like a good hire, very qualified, very decorated athletic director at a Division II school that's had a lot of success. Probably the big question is this year you're moving from Erie, Pennsylvania, and you grew up in the East, and you've come from the East all the way out to the Midwest. Just that, culture change and getting used to all of that, I think, will be the big thing. But like everybody else, in time that won't be a problem. But it seems like a pretty good hire and a very nice person. So
you're not going to come on the air and rip the new hire at Fort Hays State.
I am not. No, I understand that. But I did enjoy the visit. Thought she had some interesting things to say, and obviously asked her about NIL and all that. And she said, we have to figure out a plan and how it fits in our university system and all of those things, because it is real. It does trickle down, and all of those factors that are a part of collegiate athletics, even at the Division II level.
When you talk to the new president, what did she feel the biggest challenges are right now for, say, Fort Hays State or Division II schools in general?
I think that is some of it. I mean, obviously funding is for everything, and just dealing with all the changes and how you handle that, and like everything else, it takes revenue, and you got to have revenue to operate just as you are. And I asked her about being in the MIAA. Have you had a chance to acclimate yourself? And then she said, being at Gannon, where they have had teams make Elite Eights in different sports, has faced MIAA schools. So she's very much aware of what she's getting into and what Fort Hays State is up against in this conference, because she has seen it firsthand from schools that have played her current institution. So I don't think that's going to be any new shock to her, but just finding ways to culture boosters and find revenue streams, because it's like everything else. I mean, it's if you have the revenue, you can do great things. You can build great facilities. You can help assist in other areas, and that help your program grow. But it takes those people, and there are certain schools in our conference that have bigger pockets than others, and it's that way in Division I and everywhere. So just finding your niche and your people, and figure out a way to make it work. 'Cause I think it's different in Fort Hays than it is at Central Missouri or Washburn or other places. So I think just getting used to all of that. And I did sense she's big on like giving back for her student athletes, to be out in public, to do charity work in the community, just help build those bonds and those relationships, which goes a long way to some of those other things, I think, as well.
Did you ask her if California PA is still known as the Vulcans?
I did not, but I think they are.
Okay.
I do believe they are.
Okay, because I saw this like East Stroudsburg, some of them schools when we were ranking Division II,
I wasn't 100% familiar with the conference they were in, and then I looked, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, I remember some of these schools.
Yeah.
So she comes from a very competitive and a very good league. I mean, it's obviously different than the MIAA, but I think they've had a lot of success, and it's one of the bigger conferences or more powerful conferences in Division II. So I think that is, that will help her coming into the MIAA and just understanding what it takes to win and be successful in this conference.
Okay, Grant Daughtry is in studio with us today, and he is the new sportsman down here in Great Bend, and he's been having to deal with me the last week. So is there anything that you can tell him about my training style for him?
Oh, Grant, I don't know if we have time to go over. I'm sorry. No, you're learning from the best. You just have to be patient, and you take in what you want to take in. Hey, it's still better than my very first job out of college. I went to work in Phillipsburg with Tad Phelps, and basically I was there a day. Oh, yeah, I'm going on vacation the next week. That was my training. I didn't know anything going on. So
what am I hanging around here for? I've got all kinds of vacation days left to use.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I mean, just try to avoid the furrowed eyebrow. Try to avoid that look, because you've probably gone too far. But if you get it, you just roll with it, and just live it. You accept it and move on.
The one and only Gerard Walbrock. Yeah. Is there anything I can do for you, Mr. Webster? Yeah. Look at you now. Man, I'm telling you.
Yeah, exactly.
Gerard, appreciate it. Coming on the show, and I'm sure that Grant would love to talk Fort Hays State athletics with you, and the show returns next year. Thanks for all you do, and look forward to hearing you on the Kansas Shrine Bowl broadcast this summer. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
That'll be fun. Looking forward to that.
Yep.
That'll be the first time since we did it back, was that 95? They just
I don't know,
They just put the turf in, though. I remember that was the first year of all that stuff. And then they did the new press box. And they did the first game in the new press box. I think it was that.
Really? Okay.
It was one of those.
It wasn't in the Sugar Shack?
The aerial picture, you can see your car and my car parked back there. I do remember that. Goldie and that old white beast you had.
Goldie. All right, Gerard, appreciate it, and have a good summer. Enjoy your time off.
Thanks, Steve. Always a pleasure to be here.
Okay, Gerard Walbrock, voice of the 4-Day State Tigers. Mike Corson in the Tucker Regional Track next.
EMTs and paramedics are often the first to arrive on the scene of a medical emergency. These skilled professionals save lives every day. Barton Community College offers training in this high-paced and vital career. Coursework is taught by experienced instructors with decades of experience. Get hands-on training for this high-demand field with state-of-the-art technology and run real calls with local agencies. Application deadline is July 31st. Apply online at ems.bartonccc.edu.
Central and Western Kansas residents, are you looking for a new vehicle? Marmy Auto Group can make it happen. Marmy Auto Group includes Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep and Ram, Chevrolet, and GMC. Marmy Auto Group, your Central and Western Kansas dealer, has new and pre-owned vehicles, or we can special order your vehicle today. If your existing vehicle needs serviced, Marmy's award-winning service department can help. Come to Marmy Auto Group on 10th or marmys.net. Marmys, make it happen.
Extend the life of your equipment with the best warranty program and risk management tool in the agriculture industry. The Cenex Total Protection Plan covers new and used equipment. Receive up to 10 years or 10,000 hours of engine coverage when you use Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster Premium Diesel Fuel and synthetic lubricants. With no deductible, the Cenex Total Protection Plan provides unmatched coverage to give you the power you need to keep your business running like a well-oiled machine. Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor, today.
It's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
Mike Corson in with us on Sports Day today. Okay, 5A Regional at Great Bend today. Have you changed the betting odds on who's going to win the meet on the boys' side now, since we've had some developments with Bishop Carroll?
If you're following statewide news, to get the valedictorians, you hand in your approved speech. So the kids switched it up a little bit. By all accounts, it was still a moving speech, very clean, but he didn't follow the rules. So you got valedictorians, salutatorians from years past throwing their medals at the school, and I didn't see him in my rankings. I thought I recognized the name, didn't see him in my rankings, so who knows if it will impact any kids coming down here, but it could.
The breaking news. Don't mention anything between breaks, because man, hey.
Oh, it's been all over the news, and I've been slow on the news, so I just found out about it right before I came here. I was like, I better read up on that.
Okay, let's dig in. 5A Regional at Memorial Stadium today. Field events at 2, prelims at 5, finals at 6. What are you excited about, Mike Corson?
I'm just going to run down the list here. Girls, I wear my shirt that says 3-time regional champions, and they didn't win last year, I don't think, but it's going to be tough this year with Bishop Carroll. I would put them as the favorites. Salina Central is going to pick up a lot of points in various events. So I'll just start in the girls' 100-meter dash, because if I date myself correctly, go back to 2017. LaCora Bryant was running for Great Bend. I think the last true sprinter we've had, that was the year Newton set the state record in the 4x1, so they had 4 sprinters. So Manhattan just broke that record, is why 2017 is fresh in my mind. So Karis Lou is a freshman for Great Bend. This regionals could have the top 3 girls in Class 5A from Bishop Carroll, Salina South, Hayes. And so Karis is going to need to run well, but never know what's going to happen in those short events, and be nice to have a Great Bend sprinter at state. What we're used to in Great Bend is 800 through 3,200 girls, so heard Lashley last week say, I had such high expectations for junior Reese Bullard coming into the season, didn't know she was going through the injury, so she's continuing to get better. So, of course, the bad news is Salina Central's coming here. So you got
that Roop, and she's not even...
If she runs it, she is the top seed, and then, or Kaylee Schultz, actually, the sophomore, is the top seed right in front of Caitlin Roop. And then it's going to be a big-time fight for that. We used to call it the top 4 spots, but now it's the top 3 go to state, and there's going to be some at-large. Is it going to rain tomorrow? Is that going to impact some meets? But there's not too many meets tomorrow, so better run well today. And Reese Bullard, not in my ranking, so she's technically on the bubble, and she's going to have to upset some girls, but I would say quite capable. Same thing in the 3,200-meter run. That's where you're getting more into the wheelhouse of those Central girls. So they're up there, number 3 and number 4 in 5A. Great Bend does not have a ranked girl, but this is a relatively mild regional in that event, so maybe somebody can sneak in there. The one event Great Bend does have somebody ranked in distance events is the 3,200 meter run. Bella Long's been excelling at the steeple, but she's number 16 in 5A in the 32. This is Caitlin Roop's premier event. She's, top 5 all-time Kansas, I think. And Kaylee Schultz is right behind her, so that's 2 of the top 3 in 5A. If Bella runs well, she's looking at about the number 5 seed, and this is maybe some of these kids won't even run because you never know. Some of them run weird stuff during the season. I heard Coach Lashley talking about Michaela Minton, obviously a freshman, coming on strong, joined that 4x1 or 4x4 team. I'll get to that, but she also turned in her best time in the hurdles, so a little bit longer shot in the hundreds, but comes in, and this is a really, you got 2 of the top 4 girls in 5A in the 300s, but then a group right there at the bottom of the top 16, and Michaela's right in the middle of that, so probably 1-2 will go as expected, but that 3-4-5 is going to be a wild card. Getting into the relays with that time, I think she's helped the team cut 9 seconds before the Minton. So that got him up to number 15 in Class 5A. You've got Bishop Carroll in there that's about number 9 in Class 5A, but right after that, the bottom, 13 through 16 in 5A. So it's going to be, that's your last meet of the last race of the regional. Going to be exciting to see who emerges from that. And then Great Bend's always been tough in the 4x8. I think Lashley said, 8 or 9 straight WAC championships. So that is their marquee event. They're ranked number 12 in Class 5A. Just a couple teams ahead of them and really a pretty mild regional in that regard. So Great Bend should get at least 4 kids in that way. Talked about the high jump all year, just mainly because Hayes is coming back. Last year, Katie Lindberger was, I think, tied for second in the state, no-heighted. So she's back. I think there's some girls gone 5'8" this year. She's at 5'6", so that would put her tied for about number 3 in the state. So she's obviously going to be the favorite. You got Tamia Cheeks from Salina South, and Cassie Elligood, I believe, has gone back-to-back weeks at 5'0", which, given the strength of this regional, is bubble-ish, but maybe one of those at-large bids might be necessary for that one. And then just the girls' throws, really loaded regional for all the teams here. So we've got several. Most notably, Brooklyn Kelly in the javelin comes in ranked number 16 in Class 5A. And she's got a few girls ahead of her, so she's going to need a big day. Try to look out the window and not seeing a whole lot of wind. Boys side. Obviously, another powerhouse Great Bend has been with the distance events with Caden Esfield and company coming through. Izzy Ramirez comes in ranked number 16 in the 5A 800. Some pretty mild events here on the boys' side with not a whole lot of kids ranked, so he's actually ranked number 2 in the regional in that event. And he is the only ranked kid. He's ranked number 16 in 5A in the 1600. He's the only ranked kid at this regional. So you can't walk it in, but we like his odds.
And how many events can you enter?
A kid is allowed to enter 4.
We only have 7 or 8 events today.
We'd like to do. They don't have a decathlon. So the kicker, which doesn't impact us, but so you can run in 4 events, but your school, I believe, can only have 3 kids in an event. So if Beloit has all these shot put throwers over 50 feet, and coach had to come tell one of them or 2 of them, I think they've got 5 of them.
5 over 50?
Yeah. Sorry, fellas. Find something else. Try those hurdles out, big guy.
Wow. So, for people that want to go out, it's going to be a nice night. How do you watch a track meet? What's the best way? Mike Corson, Mr. Track Expert.
Well, think about where you are. Think about what time of day it is. You will have people sitting on the east side.
Yeah.
And until that sun goes down, that is a tough view. So, I don't know if they think it's just, especially if you're from Great Bend, go sit in the Great Bend bleachers. Get a little bit of shade, watch some events. You'll have the high jump on the north end. And I was just looking, the boys' side's actually pretty mild there too. So Cooper comes out 5'10" with no practice really. Gosh, if he can get it 2 inches or even maybe 5'10", he's...
Well, they'll have like more than 1 day of practice, so...
Yeah. And the good thing what Lashley does, which is different from a lot of regionals, field events at 2 o'clock. So it's a walk, and if you've ever sat at a field event, especially pole vault, you can sit there for 2 hours to watch all the kids cycle through. Do you know how many races come through in 2 hours? Most of the meet. So by doing the 2 and 5 o'clock, You can sit on the west side, watch the field events, and then go on in for the track prelims at 5 o'clock.
That's the inside I want, right there.
What'd they say, $8 for adults?
Yep.
What else are you going to do today? It's beautiful outside. In the least, you're going to go get your sunshine, your vitamin D, and it happens to be a really good track regional with a lot of potential for Great Bend.
Okay, and it's going to be sunny out today, so remember that too. And I'm saying this just so you remember that as well, Mike. You know, you've got to put on your boonie cap today, so cover those ears, cover that head.
The first couple meets is going to burn a little bit, but now I feel like I'm seasoned. Will I pay for it in 20 years? I'm sure.
Okay, so your rankings go on Catch Kansas into next week, into the state. What's up?
This year we halted them, and I'm not complaining because in the past it was you would take the regionals, top 4, boom, 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 boom. Now we would have had to go, and I didn't even know how I was going to do it, to try to get them up in a timely manner and cross-check with all the regionals, because legit, my hand and eye will stop working. And so, like, this is going to be all those extra lines of data entry. I can't do it.
Top 3 are in automatically.
So top 3.
Fourth place, never know. Is it top 4? Maybe if you're 5th, or is it just they're taking the top 4s?
Conceivably, you could have the top 7 at a regional, because it's going to be the top 3 at all 4 regionals, automatic, and then the next 4 at large. So conceivably, I don't know that we'll see it, but conceivably you'll have 7 kids out of 1 regional advance.
Did those Beloit shot putters just go and roll at Beloit St. John's for like the last week of the season so they could go?
Tipton needed some throwers.
Mike, thanks so much for coming in today. Mike Corson, our KVGB track and field insider on Sports Day.
Ready for a fresh start? This spring, Equity Bank is here to help you bloom into better banking with a $300 bonus. Receive $300 when you open a new Equity Bank checking account and use code FRESH, either in person or online. It's the perfect way to reset your routine and refresh your finances. Visit equitybank.com/fresh for full details and start your season strong at Equity Bank. They never forget it's your money. Member FDIC.
Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs, it's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
All right, here we are. Brent, this is what we call our big finish on Sports Day. You have 3 great guests. You want to talk to them. You got some great information at the beginning of the show. And at the end, you have 40 seconds.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I know what you and Landon are going to be talking about, video games, as soon as the show's over with. Hey, don't forget track and field today. Field events at 2. Finals start at 6 tonight. Talk to you tomorrow.
Agriculture Today on 1590 KVGB and